Little cafe we find, you smile and say, connect. I stir my tiny espresso, pretend I don't suspect. All these quiet watchers, counting every sip. I turn my screen a little, let the password slip. I want my keys in the sand, not in your hand. My secrets drifting where the tide can't reach the land. Share what I choose and keep what I am close to my chest. I want my keys in the sand, not in your hand. 1,000 voices, not just one command. We'll whisper free in a crowded room and dance in our own little bloom. You say it's for convenience, I say it feels too tight. Like every step is labeled in the soft blue light. So we carve our own small circles where trust can take its time. Pass a coated napkin with a clumsy rhyme. I want my keys in the sand, not in your hand. My secrets drifting where the tide can't reach the land. Share what I choose and keep what I am close to my chest. I want my keys in the sand, not in your hand. 1,000 voices, not just one command. We'll whisper free in a crowded room and dance in our own little bloom. Maybe control was never meant for one. Maybe the sun belongs to everyone. So write our names in scattered constellations, each tiny light its own foundation. I want my keys in the sand, not in your hand. My secrets drifting where the tide can't reach the land. Share what I choose and keep what I am close to my chest. I want my keys in the sand, not in your hand. From every corner of this quiet span, we'll whisper free in a crowded room and dance in our own little bloom.
Hello, everyone. Hope you enjoyed a little bossa nova music about privacy. Today's going to be a fun one. We're only going to go over one thing, two things, I guess, around the same thing. We're going to go over kind of the recap of the Parallel Societies event and all we have coming up with sharing all the awesome things that happened there, as well as what we're thinking about next in terms of how we continue these on and what that means and what the movement is. So Lou and Santi will be joining me here in a moment to talk about those things and show you some awesome stuff. First, Isaac has a shout out, this time for a community member, which I really like. Now we're doing shout outs for community members, which is the best. To Devishaw, that's @_DEVISHA. So if I didn't say that right, my bad. But they're an early Logos node runner. Plus, they just ran a very engaged Delhi circle, and they frequently share Logos content. So thank you for being awesome. Thank you for being an example of what a community member is. And go run nodes. Go make a circle. Go share stuff. You can just go do that. I'll bring in Lou and Santi, and we'll get going. Hey, guys. What's up?
How is everyone?
What do you want to do? How do you want to start this? Santi, you want to start?
I guess Lou is gonna share like the updates on the slides and everything that we kind of the results, a lot of the feedback, the data, everything around that, and I just jump in and say a few things at the end and what we're working on, some kind of where we're going next, or where we're gonna propose the org, and kind of why we're also doing this, I guess. So I'm just a little bit of an add-on with that.
Yeah, and what I'll do is I'll walk everyone through some slides and some impact and data stuff. But I think there's obviously quite a bit of content that people have seen, recap videos, long form talks, but what we also did with the event to kind of maximize ROI is we did a whole range of this, I guess, a mini series called Parallel Stories, which Johnny and Isaac have been kind of coordinating, leading with the video crew. And we also took long form recordings of the artists, all with the view that in having those post event a little while after, it's another way to kind of boost our reach to within our niche through the Parallel Stories, and people like Pavel from Tor, Renata, who is formerly Julian Assange's lawyer, through to Giles Peterson. You kind of do the multipliers on that reach, and then that also can be recalculated back to the impact stats that we'll present, and should hopefully take the social numbers a kind of big jump forward as well. So Corey, on that note, I don't know if you want to play the Parallel Stories trailer?
Yeah, I want to play all these things, so we can start with that. All right, here we go.
Yeah, so I'm an anarchist. Privacy is a no-brainer.
This impenetrable dark forest of encryption.
To design a legal strategy, we couldn't even discuss it between lawyers.
Intermediary institutions have been completely eroded.
Call it an parallel society, an experiment of sorts.
So yeah, I mean, I think getting all these great people together, capturing that, up in our game on the like style of the content that we have is was a big kind of objective for us for the spend and things as well. And then these Parallel Stories will all be being uploaded to YouTube probably the end of this week, along with the long form, so everyone can watch them. And then Isaac and Johnny will be leading the social strategy from X to kind of point people to that as well. But then next up we have Jared's Parallel Story interview that we haven't shared yet publicly, so it'd be great to show that one. Corey?
Here we go.
Physical meetups is really important for forming identity and forming bonds. Humans are innately social creatures. To think that you can replace that with a wire and a screen is kind of laughable. The intermediary institutions that are between the power of the state and the general public have been completely eroded. We're talking about churches, pubs, clubs, any kind of local institution that helps govern their local communities. Logos is an experiment in revitalizing civil society, and you can really split it into two parts. On the technology side, Logos is a private by default decentralized technology stack. And on the human side, we're working to build a movement where we're setting up chapters or circles everywhere we can around the world to find local issues and develop our communities. This is like literally just the beginning. We're finding the right people right now. We've found amazing leads who are setting up new circles, chapters, and from there we can start mapping out and understanding who we can work with to build that coalition and rebuild civil society.
Yeah. You're all muted.
Sorry, I was moving
I was
rooms in the
in
co-work
silence.
as well. Fucking disaster. Sorry. The video was shown. And then we won't show the whole thing, but Corey, just maybe like a minute or two of Giles Peterson's set, which
Yeah.
I
All right.
think
One more video for you, then we'll get into some sweet data visualization slides, you know, what you're really here for.
Start now, please.
From the beginning.
Is this the start? We just gotta start.
Yeah.
Seriously, just start.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
From the beginning. Yeah.
Start now, please. What? Is this the start? Start now, please.
From the beginning.
Is this the start?
Yeah.
Just start now, please.
This is the beginning.
Start
Yeah.
now, please.
From the beginning. Yeah.
Is this the start? We just gotta start.
Yeah.
Seriously, just start.
Yeah.
podcast. We just figure out.
All right, I'll stop.
But I mean, I think I think there was a lot of beauty across the 2 days and a lot of thought around not just people, but how do you create something aesthetically that really stands out in our niche. And I think, we also, invested in video crews and people that really bring that to life. And I think thinking about that in what we all do with other events and maximizing content, campaigning, marketing around it, I think it just shows, hopefully we'll see the kind of impact of doing things like that with thought. But yeah.
So like all those things are going to be like shared. Like that was just one set. So we have all the sets, all the long form sets shared. So that's going to be really awesome.
Yeah. Amazing. So then I can kind of jump into it in the exciting stuff that everyone here probably rathers, the data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one likes music. Everyone likes data.
Right. Let me just go to full screen so it looks better. Does that look better? Yeah. Okay. I won't show another video there, but yeah, so here's just a summary. I know a lot of people will have seen some of these pictures, just again of the vibes and the people. And this same presentation deck will also be shared with our coalition partners and community so that they can see the kind of impact and reach. Likewise, the day 2 side. This is more, I think, for external parties. But yeah, I mean, what was our objective? An intentional gathering of the internet culture, underground, open source hackers, crypto groundbreakers, and those building a new cultural imagination. It's not only a festival, it's an organic experience, collectively organized and curated, blah, 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 blah. I won't kind of go on, too much from that there, but I think that was the backdrop. And I think we delivered around that. And I think most importantly, the attendees and the coalition partners and our colleagues enjoyed that too. So this was all of the partners, the coalition partners that joined us. So I think it was 41. We'd said our target was 15. So I think, again, that was doing something standalone, not alongside any other circuit event. That's where I think the culture, arts, music angle really drew a lot of these people here, because if not, it's just another unconference. So I think the combination of the two is really powerful. I think the learnings are, how do we pivot more to align the 2 days so there's more cross pollination of themes and ideas, that we also kind of magnify and can support our own Logos objectives, EcoDevs objectives, IR objectives in the formats that we create. But I think when we scoped out the event, we weren't quite there yet with testnet, and that fortunately aligned. But I think we should look to do things around those major milestones in the future, and that might impact the format that we do. But really, that should be like a cross consultation across, eco-dev development, technical comms, support services, to decide what's the best structure and format with as much lead time as possible. So we had 2,412 attendees across the 2 days, 1,000 on day 1 and 1,412 on day 2. Our target was, 800 for day 2 and 500 for day 1. So really pleased that we surpassed that. 61 speakers, 44 partners. We're still calculating the nightmare of income after IVA, which is local VAT, but the overall income was 121K. And we had 24.2 million impressions on socials, which I think we can hopefully add at least another 5 million from parallel stories and the long form recordings. So again, you see that magnifier of working with others, organic reach, doing something that is well coordinated can have. So how did that compare to Bangkok, where we had a slightly different format, but this was a continuation? So we had 500 attendees. So we've nearly kind of quadrupled that. We had 10 partners, non-paying. This time we had 41 partners, of which half were paying. We had 29 speakers, and obviously at this last edition we had 61. And also bear in mind that this was when DevConnect was happening. So we I think it just shows, by doing something very different, we were able to attract more people than what we did in parallel to another event. Here's a little bit on the social impact. So on X, Organic reach, total views 168,000, paid views 11.9 million. You can kind of see the multipliers, I think, from retweets and likes and things through the coalition and tapping into that reach. So I think that was a big driver for us in doing that. Instagram, I know they're the enemy, but obviously for the day 2 component, we needed to sell tickets and we needed to market to that audience. So we took an account and grew it to 3,500 in about 8 weeks. Combined across Instagram views and Facebook at the back end, it's over 11 million. So again, it just shows you, I think, what you can do in a short amount of time with that kind of programming. And I think in the future, we can look to ways that, what is our channel strategy? How do we maximize the ROI from these types of views through back to Logos and things like that as well. In terms of web traffic, so we had 33.4K visits, 29.4K visitors. So again, I think we were really rushed because we started programming working late summer. And then we had to get the city, get the contracting in place, work on the license. We then also realized we need to have a local entity that can pay taxation. So we were really delayed with that process. So really the website and the ticketing platform was only live for about 8 weeks. So again, imagine if we'd had that up for a 6 to 8 month campaign, like any normal day 2 event would do. And I know in our niche, it is much more rushed, more last minute, but I think if you can have campaigning around this event for a lot longer time, then all these numbers will be triple where they're at. And also if we'd had more time, we could have built out the web landing page into the Logos site, so we're not directing 33K people to logos.ps. It's going through to Logos's main website. So this is why I think it's important we act now for whatever we may or may not want to do around mainnet, around next year, so that all this back engine stuff that we've learned from and seen, we can really be organized around. Here's just a bit about where the traffic's come from, visitors. Nice, kind of interesting to see the reach of people that have viewed. And then press impact. So another reason with the kind of wider, more normal audiences, subcultural audiences, is the kind of reach that we can get. And so obviously in every press release, it mentioned Logos as the parent organization behind the concept. It had quotes from leadership. It kind of explained about the day 1 format and the day 2 format. And we got tons of pickup. We did have a PR agency focused in culture to help us with this, but they were really reasonably priced compared to to other kind of agencies in our niche. So we had 99 articles picked up, and then the agencies calculated a value to that based on kind of just market standards and what that is, and that's 87,120. I'll share this and then you can kind of click through and see all the other links, but I just thought it was quite nice to hear one quote from a local publication in Portugal. And they said there may be several reasons why the team behind the festival chose the name Parallel Society. It could be the cyberspace culture highlighted on the first day, the world of blockchain, or the music that is often overlooked. We don't know the exact reason, but we do know that when it comes to large festivals, unfortunately, there aren't many that parallel this one. So that to me is like something that we should all be incredibly proud of, because that's just not that's not just our niche audience. That's people talking who go to everyday events, who go to big gatherings, go to culture gatherings. So I think it's really nice to kind of see that feedback. And what do people like? I think people like the authenticity in the event, the integrity in the space is not covered in Heineken branding. It really, the ethos of everything that I think is important to all of our audiences on day 1 carried over into day 2. So it created this playground for people who, you could be someone that never even goes to an event like that, who came to day 1 and came and engaged with a much cross section of society, and people that want to get lost in culture and music. And I think, it's something quite poetic with that. So not just me hyping us up, what did people in our coalition say? So 85% of coalition members that responded said that they would participate in this event format again, which I think is great. Would you recommend the event to a friend or colleague? 75%, yeah. So, I mean, net promoter score in financial and income perspective is a pretty solid predictor of success of projects. So again, these things are really important and helpful to us as a brand and a project. And overall rating 4.4 out of 5, 4.3 out of 5 on day 2. Some quotes. I won't bore everyone in reading them out, but there was a lot of this, and I think that's that's the best kind of references that we can take. And also we just had a shout out in the Dark Prague newsletter. So in there, they're obviously the successor to HCPP, and they've added on a rave for the last day based on what we did in Lisbon. And they had kind of acknowledged that in their newsletter. So I think you can see we're kind of making waves and having an impact with our communities as well. And here's from coalition partners and speakers. This was a quote that Santi got from Amir directly. So he saw the event as a spiritual heir to HCPP. People liked the connection of the 2 days, but in particular, people really were really very positive about the diversity in programming and thought and topics from day one. So this is a bit of an AI analysis. There were things that weren't great. I think the heat was a massive problem. It was kind of off the charts that it would be that cold here. But I think because we were needed in a venue that accommodated the day 2 up to 2,000 people and the day 1 audience, we were having to do zones and partitioning and something that was quite spectacular to lure a lot of people in. But I think really, if we are to look at things like combining those 2 types of events again, you maybe even look at different venues. For instance, what's maybe important on the day 1 is kind of more soundproofing and logistics. And it might be easier to kind of structure things a little bit differently moving forward. But those are all the kind of good things that came through. Anything else? People really like the audience as a positive. And I think, results in a unique feeling compared to other events, that kind of good stuff. Sound and noise control to improve, venue and temperature. Marketing, I think some people commented that, it wasn't clear between the 2 days. There was a lot of information on the website. I think these types of things, with more time, we can build out our own application where people can access everything. We can, we could do more around the event itself with more planning. So yeah, areas for improvement. So clearer link between both formats, greater focus on the infrastructure underpinning the event, aligning as much as we can to Logos and EcoDev objectives and other Logos objectives. So obviously we kind of led with the parallel society concept, but how do we further change the branding and the ID? So maybe that we have the one thing Santi and I have been talking to Johnny around is that you would incorporate the lambda and then you dropped the parallel society icon. I think we need to just be smarter now moving forward with how we really create that synergy between the 2. So I think next steps really, stakeholder workshops are pretty essential. What do the different teams and leads really want to get from a large format Logos flagship event again? Do we want to do something really big? Do we want to do multiple small things? I think what the big learning thing for me is everything should be planned out with a really robust lead time, with a marketing content plan in place, and ensure that we aren't just really pushing ourselves and then missing like little things and details that we can perfect. So yeah, that's me. I'll stop gabbing on now.
Nice.
Hell of a job, Lou. Hell of a job.
No, it was amazing for sure. It's good to see all like that great feedback. I guess I just wanted to add a little bit of like some of my conclusions and kind of what is coming next, at least in my mind. I mean, I think essentially this was the first attempt, like the first one was in Bangkok, and we had a little concert at the end, and it was improvised. We had that like last minute, and we were just seeing everybody having so much fun, bonding, even some kind of like weird mimetic moments going on, which was something that we were like people just copying it to themselves and just, I don't know, like real, actual, spontaneous kind of culture. And it was something we were trying to get at with logos for a long time, and we were not really succeeding. We were kind of falling flat a bit. So it was kind of the first serious attempt, like planned attempt to give logos some more of a lifestyle component, something that helps us like kind of more bond emotionally on a human level. And the guiding principle, which also guided the unconference format, was that association trumps knowledge in building communities. So we can all know the same thing. That's like obviously like from a rational perspective, fantastic. But if we're not really bonding together, associating, then we're not really building a community, right? Like we're just all focused on some objective piece of information and not just together. So this idea of like association being more important than knowledge is what guided the whole thing from the unconference to the music on day 2. And this idea of like also having celebratory moments that are kind of essential, right, as a glue that brings us together, the same principle of association trumping knowledge. And it's why also social movements use music in that way, right? Like music and the arts, things that are just more of like emotional outlets about fun, solidarity, like more raw human emotion, relieving stress, even creating experiences beyond what is really like more of a rational or more than work and very serious things that we obviously talk about, incredibly serious things, even scary things at Logos. So having these kind of emotional outlets is in our view key for community building. And some of the feedback we got is that we actually managed to do that. So I think obviously there's a lot to be done to do things better, but we already saw some inklings there. Like we're also seeing some kind of copycats going on, some of them acknowledging us, some of them not so much. So that's very nice actually to see. And I guess for the future, we're just working on refining these lifestyle moments more, right? Like experimenting with areas beyond music, because there's other things that also bring us together that are beyond work, that create the same effect, that in the end serve to create these kind of common symbols, these common stories, these common narratives that have to arise spontaneously. You can't really create this, like engineer it, right? It has to, we can create the conditions for this to happen, and then kind of like lean on whatever happens and what comes up, right? So we're looking at that. We see some things also kind of in the industry and like let's say in the broader tech sector that is actually showing that this is also the direction. We saw this recently, Anthropic looking for an event lead to do like very high level experience design across all its IRL kind of touch points, and paying a very large amount of money for that position, which also made it become viral. We've also seen, Kaushal shared this with us, but we've seen like calls for from people in the Ethereum community saying like, what is our IRL culture? Like, what is it, right? Like, it has to be punk. It has to be and this is kind of showing us that we are ahead of the curve a bit. Like we were going in the right direction. This was kind of my thinking, at least, was that, and this is also coming from Carl. Like IRL is more valuable than online, right? It can be more expensive, but it's really valuable to get people face to face. And this is what also Jared is talking about circles, right? Like you can't really replace human interaction via online mediation. Like online mediation is essential. It makes us more powerful, but we really need to have these offline moments, these IRL moments that really kind of are valuable, bond us together. So people are starting to realize that across the industry. We're ahead of the curve. We did this kind of a bit before. And it's funny because we kind of forgot about this, but in my experience in social movements and also very early kind of blockchain, crypto, Bitcoin, there was a lot of this already, like having these parties, having these raves, having these like underground art scenes. This was always part of the culture, and it just kind of got forgotten because it got institutionalized, it got taken over by like kind of the big tech and like Silicon Valley tech bro culture, but it always used to be part of this. So we're just kind of really bringing it back and experimenting a bit more with it. So we really want to look into expanding logos into other cultural expressions, anything else that kind of fits into or doesn't go against our values, it doesn't go against our mission or our ethics, and actually serves to bolster it. So that's why we've been looking at things like self-improvement, even Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, things like, yeah, exactly. I don't know, right to repair, other, which are also kind of adjacent communities, adjacent cultures that are kind of in our same lane. We're going in the same direction. So why not start like opening up like communication touch points with them, so we can really start just growing beyond our own kind of very small niche of privacy-focused developers or a very specific type of activists. So we're just really thinking a lot about that, having a lot of conversations, researching a lot as well. So if you have any ideas, also looking forward to hearing them and expect to hear more from us in the next few months. Yeah.
And I think we're looking at as well, like the lifestyle piece around that. So if there's things of maybe disconnection, there could be things that we do outside of just the music and art side that align to the rebrand and the position. So you have like a week-long trek before whatever the next event might be, where you're bringing together builders, developers, activists to be outdoors, disconnect, to kind of that new kind of frontier approach. But to kind of think about and plan that, we want to, it's important to kind of get all the pieces aligned. Where is it? When is it? How could you do those things? How can we be more cost effective, because we're doing things with more lead time as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've inspired people, like or shared it with Santi and Johnny, but the Radio Quantica is a local radio, not-for-profit. It's run for 10 years. They submitted a proposal to us around, they want to build autonomous cultural zone in Lisbon that's underpinned by privacy tech, so using low-loss tech, because they want to create decentralized private shared calendars across collective associations. You can come and do that together. They want to do a monthly gathering where they bring together researchers, developers, programmers, Gen Z, art crews, music people, and then it's like a mini monthly gathering, but where possible we build upon our technology. And those are people that like have come and maybe knew a bit about the day one stuff, but have then seen that this is the future for us. And I think like that, how we kind of bounce on those ideas and do that type of stuff is really exciting.
Yeah, when you sit in the tech side or just the online side of things, it's easy to get trapped in the problems and not think about anything that makes anything better, and you lose this kind of agency that you need in order to do something, make something different. And I think a lot of the stuff that on this side of the organization and the movement is like helps with that. It gives people that sense of like one of the quotes that I liked that I latched onto in your presentation was like a Schelling point for the hopeful. And so like you need that IRL in real life thing to foster that and grow it. And nothing really happens unless you do that. So I'm very excited to see how this grows and changes and adds onto and moves. Great job. Other than that, nice. Anything else? Anything else to share? Any ideas? All right.
Nice conclusion, Corey. That was great.
Yeah, great. Then everyone who's listening and watching, we have all of this stuff to put on YouTube and start sharing around to get people to kind of see like what we did and how cool it was to get them amped up for the next thing. And so when those come out, watch them, share them, like them, all the things, so that we can really like get the word out and get people excited about what we do next and get involved. Thanks guys for coming on.
Thank you. Bye.